Alright, hello everyone. I'm going to do a second one of these just showing the colors. But this time I'm also going to I'm going to try and do some colored pencils alongside the markers as well. Which is how I did some of the cooler ones that I did, like that Phantom. She's around here somewhere. Oh, she's back here. So adding colored pencil in can give you even more nuance. I've already gone to Coolors, and I've got a palette. Without stopping the video and switching screens so I can show it to you, I can basically just tell you it's a, actually it's backwards here. It is a palette of blues and purples with a little bit of pink on the end. And I've got some light blues here. I'm also going to do flesh tones for. I actually kind of considered, you know, maybe making her like light purple skin tone just to be interesting. Or I might use this like light blue. I have skin tones. I could just reach over to my Hongfan set. This is this is like a knockoff. Not quite Copic, not exactly Copic set, and it's got a great set of skin tones, and this was not at all expensive. But I think we might do her with blue. Make her have blue skin, and make this a night sky. So the darkest blue, this dark blue, which is a cobalt blue, will be sort of the night sky. Maybe we'll assume that there's moonlight shining back behind here, you know, like up to the right. I originally was saving this piece to submit to the class that I'm in, but I decided to go with the tiger and one other. This is one of my favorite colored pencils, by the way. I just grabbed for it. A lot of times when I'm just grabbing for a pencil, I'm not really looking at, you know, where it is exactly. I just go for the color that immediately appeals to me. And in the last like 4 or 5 videos, I've picked this exact same pencil just completely based on whim. It's Delphinium. And anyways, one of the cool things about colored pencil is, you know, if it's a wax medium, it is soluble by the alcohol marker. So if you want to blend it, and you can go colored pencil on top of marker or marker on top of colored pencil, and it all works. I'm going to use this gentian blue and layer it a little bit. It's one of the coolest things about colored pencil is once you start layering it, you get some really interesting, in my opinion, very nuanced colors. I don't know what I'm going to do with her hair just yet. I'm going to at least throw down a layer of this gentian blue. I haven't, the next class is supposed to concentrate on how to do hair, and I'm not great at hair, I'll just admit right away. Also, you see the underside for Witch's Hat here? I want to almost darken this out. So the same color that is my darkest color is the night color, which is this one. It's probably going to go on the underside of the hat. And that might be a problem, but I've got this cloud layer that's going to completely frame it, so it should be okay. Like, I should be totally fine. Soon I will be moving out of sketchbooks and trying to do stuff on loose leaf sheets of paper. so that I can sell it. Or attempt to, anyways. Not that I think I'm all that or I'm great, but I've seen some other people selling stuff, and I thought, you know, I could try some of that. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? All right, I like her already, and I'll even shade the underside of her hat a little bit. Okay. I know I don't want to use this color on her hair because I want to make sure that I preserve some highlights and stuff. Let's start out by just talking about shading. I gotta be careful with it. This is where I could really screw things up. So I'm gonna, I've got my plastic piece in. There we go. So let's go in with a bullet tip and just get the difficult places first. This is a little different than the last one where I went in and I started out shading the figure with my darkest shadows first. I think I've got a fairly good sense of where those shadows are with the ink, like with the black ink. Maybe I don't. But either way, I think we're going to use our second darkest to start shading the figure rather than this, because this is a really saturated blue. Like this is going to cover everything. In fact, I know I'm rethinking about whether I want to black out that bottom of her hat. That might be disastrous if I'm not careful. It's one of those things, it's like you don't know until you try it, but my instincts are telling me that's a step too far. I do like the idea of having this dark color though, this high contrast. Okay. We're getting in pretty good. But if I were to give you one or two tips, one of which would be learn enough color theory that you can choose your colors, or just go to coolors.com. What colors you choose is important. It's going to affect everything on the piece. And then and don't be afraid to try a couple of unusual things, I guess. Now let's get in a little closer. I love the squeak of the marker. When I was in school, we got to color with magic markers very rarely, and if we did, the teachers would say, don't color in solid areas with their magic markers because it just makes them run out. So I was always doing that, and I realized that's the only way you get anywhere. You've got to color in with your magic markers. Your teachers told you wrong, or they told me wrong. They were just trying to preserve school supplies somehow. This is cool though, it's a nice high contrast background. I learned a bit about going high contrast on the background during Inktober when I was doing all those monster figures. This is going to be a hard one. There we go. I'm going to show you another cool trick. If you feel like you've gotten too monochrome or monotone on your backgrounds, I thought that was a cloud and it was her hat and I just colored right over it. Go back to your colored pencil. Don't have to go in hard. Don't break your fingers. Just go in. Give it a little bit of shading, a little bit of just a little bit of nuance and light. And as this dries, it's going to give you more than one tone. I'm planning on doing some stars as well. You know, with a different kind of paint pen. This is cyan blue. Cyan blue comes out kind of gray. Once again, we're back on colored pencil. Didn't get close enough into the broom here. And the other thing is to avoid the streaky look. Put some random noise in there. That'll break it up a little bit. All right, the next darkest, I believe, is this one, but I'm not 100% sure. Violet Rose. No, it might be this Evening Perfume. That's the name of the color, Evening Perfume. So this is Evening Perfume. And this is Violet Rose. I've got it right here. Kind of close. I think Evening Perfume is so far the winner. Lavender Silk is a lighter color, and so is the other one. Okay, so it's Evening Perfume. All right, we're gonna go in and we're just gonna shade her and her dress, and this is what I'm gonna use for the underside of her hat as well. And we're going right over the colored pencil without a care in the world. One of the cool things about what the colored pencil does is it gives you a color that you don't necessarily have on your markers. It's a different color. You've added a different nuance to it. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of her hair. Once again, I don't really know what I'm doing with the hair, but I know that it should be shaded a little bit. And same with under her neck. Maybe just a little bit of shading on the hair as well, over here. It looks so nice over the delphinium color. I really like that. Okay. Same with the knee. I'm going to do the whole broom straight up in this Evening Perfume. maybe a bit of the shoes. I'm leaving a little bit of white because we can throw in another color there. And then that's the top of her dress, and then we have kind of the underside of the skirt. I'm going to go ahead and throw some gentian blue down on that first to make sure that it looks a little bit different than the rest of the dress. Okay, here we go. Just do a little bit here. All right, this is our darkest and second darkest. Next darkest up, I believe, is Violet Rose. And it's not by a lot, like it's pretty close. So it may not be even worth it to be that subtle. In fact, I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure it's worth it. I'm gonna put this aside for right now and go to the next step. This one is Lavender Silk. Okay. I'm gonna focus on her dress and the hat. Might be fun to get some gold watercolor paint and pick out a couple of accents in metallic. Just want to get in a little closer. Still Lavender Silk. Darken that up just a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to beat this color, this delphinium color, for her skin. I think it's just a cool color. I might just leave it that way. Just leave her with the light blue. Maybe if I can find a really light transparent blue. This is my lightest color. It's Lilac Blush. It's going to be a different pop of color no matter where I put it. Let's start by doing her lipstick. A bit more of her hair. I really like it. Okay. I really wish I had this delphinium color in markers, and I would definitely use it. Let's go ahead and Here we go. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, hang on. I'm tempted to wipe out this white with this pink color. In fact, I think I'm going to do it. Because white wasn't really in our palette. I mean, you're always going to have white, probably. I'm switching directions over and over again to see if I can break up the streaky effect. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of layering. Like the pink does not layer over the cobalt at all. The very lightest, if the lightest color doesn't layer over the darkest color, then you shouldn't worry too much about it, what happens to it. We might do a little bit of shading on the cloud. And I'm going to look for a light blue, if I have it. I might not have it. My lightest of light blue. This is called Cloud Blue. Let's take a look. That might be it. It's a very subtle color. Yeah, this looks okay. Preserve some of the whites. Blends really nicely with the shading that we did down here. We can even put a little bit on our cloud. All right, give it a moment to dry. And while we're giving it a moment to dry, we're going to get our white Posca pen. And we're just going to pick out a little bit in her eyes. Some stars. Let's do a little star there. And there we go. I really like how the cloud turned out. It's one of these subtle details things where it's like, oh, that came out better than I expected it would. This is gentian blue. Okay. I also have some metallic. This is my, this one is called cyan blue metallic. I'm not sure how good the metallic colored pencils really are. They do kind of show up pretty good against dark though, usually. Yeah, I could definitely use some help from that class when it comes to the hair. Well, I'm just going to say good decision on my part not to go to complete dark on the underside of the hat. Oh, strap on her shoe. Let's go with pink for this. All right, she's looking good. I think we're just gonna sign it and go. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and there will be more art every day.